Hey, everyone, just wanted to come on before we do the show, just because we recorded the show earlier this week, and we got the absolute horrible news about Rocky on Wednesday. So I'm kind of doing this here before. So we're not gonna you're not gonna hear us talk about it on the show here, but I think everyone here we've all not everyone got to meet him. We all just got to see the personality, either online or when he was on TV. You just that laugh, that Rocky laugh. He was always having fun. I know him and I talked about coming on the show, but he kept saying, "Oh, the Wi-Fi is not good at the Rock Center. We can't, we have to do it live sometime." So the plan was to stop by my next time on my way to Charlotte this May coming next May coming up, and we were gonna do. I was gonna have a cameraman with me, and him and I are gonna put some lav mics on and just do a little fishing and talk cornhole, which I think would have been a blast. But I think he's gonna be missed by a lot of people. I know I got to message some people that a lot of upset people, and even people from up here are talking to them in Canada that he would message them, especially up there during that pro am virtual tournament that they had where he went and he won it. But I talked to CornDoug, who's been on the show before, and he was saying how he had so many conversations with Rocky that after he played Rocky the one time in that tournament, that Rocky kind of messaged him saying, what, you're throwing great, keep it up, and just kind of giving him a bunch of words of encouragement and just trying to help him out. And I think that was for a lot of people, and I got to talk with one person, who's been on the show before, and we talked, and I said, whenever Rocky's name's been mentioned on the show, it's always one thing. If you go back and watch any show, we talk about Alan Rockwell, and the first thing that the guest does is you get a laugh, because they had so much fun with him. Whether it was all of his talking, you go back to Jay Corley being on the show and him saying, what, I wear earbuds when I'm playing Rocky. Sometimes there's no music in there. It's just I'm putting them in just so I don't have to listen to him talking. Just because the constant chatter and and hearing stories of back in 2019 where he tried to put up some money saying that our boys Jamie and Steve it's Jamie and Scott would last 8 rounds against Hisner and Henderson, and it's just I think for everybody, it was just the name Rocky Rockwell just meant you were going to have some fun. It was someone who was going to have some fun. No matter if you're watching his videos or whatever online or just some of his posts, but heartfelt goes out to Kathy and the family, and just wish I could have had him on the show. Wish I could have met him, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of come on and put this here on before we do the show. Show's kind of more lighthearted. It's the 2-year anniversary. I didn't want to do this part of it, but yeah. So gonna miss you, Rocky, and that's all I can say right now. And we are here. We are 2 years in the make. Finally, I didn't think it was going to last 2 weeks, but it's you guys. 2 years for you guys as well, too. Happy anniversary to you guys as well.
This is a fact. Yes, it is 2 years today, to the day, to the exact day.
Yeah, well, for the day that we're recording, for me, it's this weekend. Yeah. Well, this weekend we're good. Show's out Friday, but
27th. 27th is the date, and today's the day.
But you guys are the OG guys, apparently, because I'm like we talked about like the other week, I'm kind of below Orville's Cornhole and Hog Report in some districts in the U.S. But yeah.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, first non-denominational cornhole podcast because ACO had the taco before there was anything else. But as somebody who listened to the taco, if you didn't know anything about cornhole, like it was super insider baseball, you know. Even like I would only know like the guys or a name like that.
We're in Canada, Brendan. It's hockey.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Yes. Insider hockey. Correct.
Well, Donnie, I'm surprised you're still awake. Because you were like weren't you in like Iowa like 3 hours ago?
Well, let's see what happened. So tournament finished up yesterday around 10 o'clock-ish at night. We went to Reggie's mom's bar, Ruby's. Drank till about, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Back to the hotel. Got up at 9, was out of the hotel by 10, drove straight home. I took a 2-hour nap in New York. Got home at 10 o'clock this morning. And then had massive insomnia.
So, 24-hour rip.
24-hour rip. All by my load.
Donnie, you are... Yeah, that is some shit right there. I mean, I'm kind of the same way whenever I go, like whenever we go to the Carolinas, if we drive, which my wife hates, but when we drive back, I drive the whole way. And it's about 19, it ends up being about 19 hours. I just go for it. I mean, you just got to do it. You know what I mean?
Well, at that point, I was just done and wanted to be home.
Yeah, exactly.
Powered through.
The longer it takes, the worse it is. You know what I mean?
No, I can see that's the same way I am when we're coming home when I come from a race in Charlotte. It's like you know what? I've had 2 weeks of absolute crap done to my body. I just want to get home to my bed.
Absolutely.
But
and wait, I will say this, Donnie. We had obviously we had a tournament at Scotty Moe's.
Who?
Yeah, this weekend, huge tournament, unbelievable showing of people, and it was awesome. And I slept in his backyard in my truck, and woke up at like 4 a.m. because it was pouring so much that like it sounded like I was in the middle of the battlefield. Then I drove home at like 6:30 in the morning because I wanted to sober up completely, or at least enough to get home. And I have to say that as I was driving home, I was thinking, you know what? You're not Donnie right now. That's one thing. You're not.
You're not.
But anyways, I digress.
But Donnie, as I see, you've gone fire red with the Mohawk.
Well, I did have to, you know, because of sponsorships, I was contractually obligated to dye the color of my hair. You know, McCannon did pay for the hair dye. So,
that's right.
You know, so blonde on the bottom, little fire on the top. You know, when it's completely spiked up and it curls a little bit, it does look like flames. You know, just not sleeping for 24 hours. If I tried to put gel in it right now, I'd probably glue my eyeball shut.
Well, I have to say, it's almost, a year and a half ago now that you guys kind of helped me put myself on the map with my wife, thinking they're talking about you. So to match the fire Mohawk, I had to bring the snow is back. The snow drift is back.
Oh.
Wow.
I kind of look like that guy from the Goonies a bit though, with it kind of off to the side. So I'm gonna put this back on. Yeah.
I feel a little like left out here. Although I had to equally look as ridiculous. I have a tooth that's gone out 4 times. My front tooth. It's whatever. People are gonna see this, I guess, right on YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's this tooth right here, and it could come out at any time tonight. So my father-in-law is a dentist, so he gave me a temporary crown on it. And he's like, don't eat pizza or like sandwiches or anything like that. Like, you don't eat like soft food. And of course, I got drunk on Friday night, forgot, ate pizza, came ripping out, split in half. So now I have it like bonded together and it's like in by a thread. I went to the party with no tooth. I'm just like, fuck it. Like, and I was first explaining to people like, hey, but then I'm like, you know what? Toothless, ruthless. That's where I'm going today. So it looks ridiculous because like once it breaks off, I have like, they ground it down to like a baby tooth so they can put the real crown on there. So it looks insane. So anyways, hopefully it comes out during the party tonight and party we're having here and you can see it.
Well, I do have to say, I did look at the standings and you did finish higher than most in that tournament.
I don't know. We were 1 and 2, so I can't imagine we finished too great. Maybe we're 2 and 2. I don't know.
Yeah, you might have been something there because I brought it up on the old Scoreholio app and.
Oh yeah, I had my partner Blake Cox. He played better than I did. We both kind of shit the bed at the wrong time. It was one of those tournaments. We played good first game and then kind of went downhill from there. Great showing, though. Here's a question. And we'll probably talk about this on our show, too. But, Doug, this is a question that you can answer. So we had three groups of pros came. Okay, so it's Tony Smith and Devin Harbaugh won it. Jacob Jasinski and Stormhawk came in second. And Jimmy Humans and Tyler Cobb came in third, right? Awesome guys. Obviously, well known. They were huge fans of Tony Smith and Jacob, and they're kind of hometown heroes. But here's the question, though. Going forward, the reason they came, obviously, is not to see us. They came because there was a $3,000 first prize, right? And it was a lot of fun. Like, I think people had a blast. It was kind of a nice, like, little, like, almost like, pro-am type of thing going on. But, like, I think after seeing those results, and there were some legit mass teams there, right? So it just goes to show. I mean, you're not going to beat the pros. I mean, they're playing every day. They're doing what they're doing, especially that level of pro. I mean, I don't know. This is like one of those questions. Like, do you have two divisions, or do you just say, hey, no pros, just Joes in a tournament like that? You know what I mean? It's interesting because you don't have enough people to make it like a Spencer's where it's like, and I don't, like I said, maybe this is Scotty Moe ran it, by the way, unbelievable tournament. I mean, I would go every year. I don't care who was playing. If the guys were playing or whatever, I'd still get myself in there. But it's an interesting question to ask. You know what I mean? At what point are people like, just like, all right, well, pros?
Well, we kind of run up into that here because we've got so many new players and so many established players who are they're going to be the top anyway. So most of our people are all kind of fighting over each other to play competitive instead of playing in the advanced division, right? So we kind of we have that same thing here, and it's like, if you're always playing in that division, you've got to play up. It's you got to take the best. You're one of the best here, so you've got to play against the best that are coming out.
So I would always say play up, right? That's always my just opinion, and Donnie I know feels the same way. But I think it's interesting. Like, for example, we had this little sponsored game where John Clark, who was a pro, and McCracken, who I think is about almost as good as Clark probably, played against Tony and Humans. I put up $100 of my own money. They only lost 21-14, and there was like a little critical moment there where we'll talk about our show. McCracken questioned something Clark did, and Clark balked at him, and I think that threw Clark off a round. But they were getting points early, like they were kind of up. So it's not like I don't think they're unbeatable. But like you're gonna have to have you're gonna have to hope that they have their off game and you have your absolute best game. You know what I mean? To do something like that.
Who is Big Dog, Little Dog? Was that was that Doghouse guy?
Maybe Lowry and Leiden, maybe.
Yeah, because they finished just above you in 13th place.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do horrible. How many teams were there?
We went all the way down to 33rd, but there's ties here, so
so I came in the middle of the pack. Story of my life.
Well,
average Andy.
And even we still have that too, where we have Bobby Sperrio will come up and bring, whether it be Kevin Smith out of Buffalo or Jack Shea or one of the guys from there, and they're just going to walk over everybody here, right? But I think they walk over everybody, but they also are trying to teach some of the other newer players, which I think is helpful as well.
Yeah, and I have to say this too, like just in context too. If you go back and watch the video on our page, Doghouse page, it was on Doghouse Dogcast page. I did it live. McCracken hit the best shot I saw at the tournament. Now Scotty Moe took a roll back, and Jacob said that was the best shot. I don't think so. McCracken pulled a 3-bag drag that I didn't think the third bag was in play. So they made some great shots. It was awesome. It was such an amazing day. Just first of all, going from we've all been in the COVID thing. You know what I mean? We're starting to come out of that at least. Hopefully. At least we all just not giving a shit anymore. We're all coming out of it, either whether they like it or not. Yeah. It was an awesome all-day extravaganza of cornhole, and I'm glad to see that is back because that was a lonely, whatever that was, 12 to 13 months there that we were all hunkered down in the barrels of Zoom hell.
Yeah, we're now back playing in like a regular facility instead of a bar. We've got a new bar to go to because apparently the old one said it cost too much to set up for cornhole, which I'm not sure what they really did to set up for cornhole, but still, But so we've got a new place. I think it's a better place, but whatever. But it's and we've had some kind of pushback because up here you have to, in order to enter a facility like that, you have to be double vaxxed. There's some pushback with that, but it's if you want to do it, if those are the rules, you want to do it, you got to do it.
Sure. So, yeah. They don't. don't force that here. I mean, I'm double vax, so it doesn't really matter to me. But regardless, whatever. It's just good to be back and at least some type of flexibility. I mean, Donnie was out in Iowa. I don't think they give a fuck out there, Donnie. Do they?
I think I saw one mask.
Yeah, there you go. How is the like? Let me ask you about Iowa.
Yeah.
It's flat.
Did you like partake in any spectacular dining or anything?
I did have something amazing.
Okay.
We're gonna have to try this. I thought when I read it on the menu, it freaked me the hell out. But it is called the walking taco.
Okay.
What the walking taco is you take those little bags that you get in the multi-pack of Doritos,
Okay, yep.
and then you dump taco meat, cheese, and shredded lettuce in there, and you eat it right out of the damn bag.
Oh, I bet it's awesome.
It was amazing.
You've never had that?
Never had that.
No.
Listen,
We do that camping here all the time.
yeah. Well, that's
Wait. Explain it to me. You crumple up a bag of Doritos.
Yeah, you just get a bag of Doritos, crumple it up, and then throw anything you want in there that you would want to have on a taco in that bag, and then you just eat it in
grab
the
a
bag.
spoon.
Yep.
Oh, I might do that like tomorrow night for dinner.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I tell my son about it. He's like, "Well, did you stop and get Doritos on the way home?" I'm like,
By the Donnie's son has taken over Donnie's he's like on Instagram. He's got like a real heavy presence on Instagram these days. First of all, it freaks me the fuck out every time I see him because he looks just like you, except like slightly thinner and younger, obviously. And I'm just like, man, this is like a young Donald coming in. Second Act 2 is coming in now.
Act 2 is coming in hard.
Yeah. How old is he? 16, 17?
He's 14.
14. Kid looks like he looks old. He could probably buy alcohol.
Yeah, he's sprouted up. I mean, he was tiny up until about a year ago, and he's really started to sprout up. And the friggin' head of hair on that kid. Geez.
I mean, look at where he comes from. I mean, head of hair to beat the band, for Christ's sakes.
So to bring it back with our 2-year stuff here, did you guys think you would be as big as you are back 2 years ago, that first episode? Did you ever think that it could get to this?
Doug, we've quit 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
No. Well, by big, I mean, I don't think, like, contextually speaking, I think it's funny because I do definitely think there's like a ton of people that are into cornhole that don't know, and obviously just don't listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Because like it was funny, there was a question was asked recently. I sold a couple sets of bags because my wife was literally like, "Get, you got to get these out of here," and I have so many. These are ones I bought, so they weren't ones that were given to us by anybody. And somebody asked on the GTG page, like, "Is this person good to go?" I guess is what it means. I didn't even know that was a page. I don't sell bags or buy them. And he said my name, and people were like, a lot of people that buy bags, like Sean's on that page, Asp and Pat and everybody.
Yeah.
You know, they're all like laughing, and it's like a big thread about it. And the guy's like, "Oh, I don't listen to podcasts." So I'm like, "You're buying $400 sets of bags, but you don't listen to cornhole podcasts." It's like wild to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm such a person that just takes everything in. So like, I listen to this podcast, I listen to the Asp podcast, I listen to every podcast that I think is out there that you know, obviously you have a limited amount of time. You can only listen to so many cornhole podcasts a week, but I think it's I think it's funny that like it's not really. So let's put it this way. I think it's what's way cooler to me than like really even how many people listen to the show is that like we now know these people that we used to just see on TV and we can hang out with them. I think that's cool. You know what I mean? I'm like a super fanboy, so that's like fun to me, you know?
I follow Ruben around like a friggin' school kid this week. I mean, come on.
He is cool. I mean, I'll give you that. I'll give him that. He's like one of the few cornhole players I can say like, this dude's pretty fucking smooth as ice.
Yeah.
Well, to your point, Doug, too, though, like even when you go to some of these bigger tournaments, right? You know, like I sometimes love the spotlight, but there's other times
I don't believe that at all.
There's other times I'm just like, all right, I just want to go maybe throw a bag or maybe take a nap in the corner. Did take a nap this weekend too, right in the middle of the tournament.
I love it. That's Donnie's signature move.
Signature move, just walk.
If you're driving that many hours, Donnie, you deserve every nap you get. I have nothing but love for that.
Once again, buckets were $20.
Were they?
Yeah.
Buckets of Miller Lights were $20.
No Miller Lights. What the hell?
Oh, Jesus.
I had to drink Bud Light.
That's horrible.
But they were the pounders.
It was $20 for 6.
$20 for like
A five, yeah,
no,
yeah.
6. I think it was 6.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, I think listen, I think it is awesome that you know what's the best part is just the like that we are never going to be good at cornhole, the three of us, but like we can hang out with everybody who's good at cornhole. it's like we're on the basketball team, but we ride the bench. You know what I mean? Like that's like our role. Like we're like 12th man. We're just there to tell jokes on the back of the bus, kind of thing.
We could be the weakest link on a crew cup team.
No, but seriously, I think during COVID we almost quit twice. Like I was almost like I said to Donnie, like I don't want to do this anymore. Like I think it was just burnt out too. It's like, and you know how it is. It's like you're in complete lockdown. You can't even see Donnie and Pat. Like it's like, and we're just talking about something that's barely going on. Like there's like one event, like, and it's all masked, and it's like, and then you don't even realize if anybody's even you're like in your head, you see numbers of people listening, but you're like, does anybody give a fuck about this thing?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm talking to my friends in my basement all the time, like, but then I think once we got out of that, and then we started, I think, you know, kind of meeting some of these people and getting out there and, you know, glad handing and kissing babies again. That was when I'm like, oh, this is fun. You know what I mean? This is what I like to do. I like to go out there and see the people.
Well, I still get shocked when I'll message someone to see what's coming on the show, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's go." I listen to you all the time, and I'm like, "Really?" Like you know, show last week, Chris Meek, he was one. Like, I had no idea that he would actually, one, know who I was, two, listen to the show, and then all of a sudden, he's on the show, and I'm used to having like, I look at all my stats, and like I say, I'm number 5, but like I have like top 199 downloads in 1 week. His show is at like 800 downloads just for having him on, and I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah,
you know,
people love me. It's funny though. It matters who you have on. I mean that from a standpoint of like when we have a local person on who's a pro, like we had Emperor, right?
Yep.
That was like a big show for us, and like, you know, and I love Emperor. Obviously, he's one of my favorite people in the world, but like he's not particularly like Matt Guy or something. No. Like his episode did way better than the Matt Guy and Brett Guy one we did like a year ago. So it's interesting. And some of the episodes that you think are the best ones don't perform as well. I just learned I barely even look at that stuff anymore. Like I'm just going to do it regardless, right? Like we just do it regardless. It doesn't matter. I mean, certain people, either you listen to it and you love it or you don't. I mean, that's pretty much it. But I mean, it's funny. I met guys this weekend that were like, yeah, I just started listening like last week. He's like, can I get a hat? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, absolutely. And so I think that a big part of it too is Donnie's better at this than I am, but like, you know, literally going out and seeing the people, like, and meeting them and talking to them because, you know, I don't know, people, you know, they go through the trouble to listen to the show. You go through the trouble to make the show. And it's nice to actually see them face to face, you know?
Well, and I think that the people in the Northeast in your area are like, if I could have someone from the Northeast on every week, I'd fucking do it. Because Jacob Trzynski, right after he beat Hisner there, I had him on. And the show was through the roof. I had Tortotolo on. The show was through the roof. Anytime I have someone from the Northeast on, it's like everyone of their brothers watching or listening.
Yeah. Well, we just have a loyal crew up here, I think, of people who like, you know, it's fun to like hear your friend be on something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that's cool. I like one of my favorite episodes of this show is when you first have a Kraken on. Cause I'm like, wow. I'm like, I didn't know a Kraken would be that good. Like, he was really good. He was really a good interview. I wish we had just never had him on our show. I mean, I'm down to talking out of school a little bit. Yeah.
But to your point too, I think it matters who's on there. But the one thing a lot of people don't understand though is how much work goes into getting those people on, the coordination, the amount of time it takes to, you know, cultivate those relationships and then trying to figure out what you're going to talk about and everything else. I mean, we've talked about it a million times. There's now, I think, probably 30 Cornhole podcasts out there right now that are just all over the place. But, you know, they don't understand yet the work that goes into it 2 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
it's good.
No, well, I'm saying I could remember still trying to coordinate with people with guests when it was just like the four of us, like the Asps, you guys, myself, just doing shows, and all of a sudden now there's so many more. It's like everyone is just fighting for everyone's time, and it's just, you know, and trying not to be like, I don't want to have the same guest as this person here. I'm trying to space that out. It's like just insane.
Yeah, and you can't even control it. Like a guy had sent Gustafson and Burness a message like last week. They're like, yeah, we want to come on. And I'm like, all right, what about Sunday? And a lot of times I ask Sean and ask like who they having on, but I just forgot or whatever, and I don't know. So then all of a sudden I see it like pops up my feed that they were on their show, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to 2 shows in the same weekend. They probably felt like I don't want to be like turning this guy down. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then it goes to the thing too. To your point, it's like, all right, we're having people on. It's like you are conscious of like you don't want to have the same people on all the time because then it's getting a little boring. But then in your mind, you're like, we just had this person on. And then I'll look like, for example, Jay Rubin. I'm like, we kind of just had Jay Rubin on. We're gonna have him and Jordan Power on this week to talk about their bag release, who they're going with. And I'm like, then I look back and I'm like, that was last summer that we had him on to do his Jersey Guy jersey. So it turns out in your mind, it all seems like it was yesterday, but like, it's really like, and look, you think about how much time, like, okay, we have 80. I think this will be our 87th or 88th episode this week or something like that. I can't remember exactly. 88, right? So 88 episodes. Each one is guaranteed to be pretty much over an hour, except the first couple ones. So I'd say the average is over an hour. I mean, we're talking about like you could look like 3 straight days worth of fucking audio. Like I don't know what is in there, and people wonder why our show got so like off the rails, kind of, and like non-cornhole related at times. Like, dude, when you talk about you're getting 50, 60 episodes in. You want to get weird a little bit every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Well, we did have a formula in the beginning because someone did the math, and we did have to get to 45 minutes or less in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then we just went. Now we're just like it's ridiculous, but
like I went that too. Like, okay, I have to be hitting the hour. Each show has to be an hour, and then it's like, you know what? A half hour would be good too. That's fine. It's in those ones because once you start talking with some people, it's like. Okay, I wanted to only do 20 minutes, but we're going 45 because there's just so much time. Like I had Eric Ryder on last week. I had no idea that he would talk so much, right? Because you only see Trey, but Eric talked for we did 36 minutes. I think I talked for like 4.
Sure.
Right? But it's just letting people talk.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like it's funny too because. Like recently, we've done a couple episodes that were like Cornhole. I mean, Bob Miley with the comedian on during COVID, and also we just had Sean Latham and Todd McComas on, who they work for the ACL, so that's kind of Cornhole related. But in my opinion, it's funny because originally I thought like, well, this would be great because this is a podcast that's evergreen, right? Because you're gonna be talking about how to run a blind draw, how to do that. Well, that lasts like 12 shows, right? And it's like, all right, we talked about how to choose your partner, how to like do all this shit. Now it's like, so you got to think about, now you start talking about current events a little bit. And it's like, are you really going to go back and listen to somebody talk about the ACL final chase from 2019? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think like we just keep banging them out is like my goal and keep creating good relationships with people. And hopefully that helps. Someday somebody will be positive money at some point.
Yeah.
Well, at least money.
Yeah. You can make tens of dollars, I heard, having these podcasts.
Once I can make 1 or even like a 50 cents, I'll be fine.
Yeah, me too.
Which going Canadian to American is probably like minus a quarter or something. But but I just like for me this is just too much fun doing this here. Right? That's where I started having fun. Like I keep saying, this show started being a 10-minute bi-weekly show about cornhole in this area. That lasted for 2 weeks. And then it's like weekly, going half an hour on video. And it's I just had too much fun.
So how many episodes are you on? Which episode are we on?
I want to say this is like 110, I think.
Wow.
Like
Jesus.
Yeah.
So you don't take summers off like me and Donnie and McCracken.
No.
We're like the president. we go up to the camp, David, and just see you later. Peace out.
The thing is, Stern schedule.
Yeah.
If you see that I don't have an episode this week or any week, it's because the guest has fallen through or something's happened that I couldn't get it done. That's the only way I'm getting no episode.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's funny. We try different. We usually record on Sunday or Monday nights. I prefer Sunday because Donnie's usually off Sunday for work, and then, but sometimes you're just like, man, I don't want to do that tonight. You know, you're like, I just like you know, and then especially with us where it's all three of us on, like I don't always know that somebody's going to click in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like even though we have them all set, I have a good idea they are, but like sometimes it's somebody new and you're like, is this person going to even be on the show tonight? So, you know, like, yeah, to the point of the consistency and all that stuff, it is. It's work. I mean, you're editing the thing. But what's more cool to me, I think, is that like, for example, you know, like for example, I'm sure everybody sees that we sell our Doghouse hats, right? And they've been selling pretty good, but like we do so many contests and give so many away to people that we like that like we're gonna be like we'll probably be negative at the end of the year.
We are such bad business.
We are not good businessmen, but we are good people.
Well, I got the back shirts. I think I've sold like 4.
Oh, I'm buying
Right?
one then. I didn't know how much was my
Well, no.
shipping.
Well,
To Boston.
the shipping is what sucks. Is that
Yeah,
international
yeah.
shipping, right? Which is why gladly, if you watch the Meek show, we announced that they're going to now be sold through Cornhole Supplies Canada. So you be able to buy local bags up in Canada without the extra
Awesome.
shipping costs. So yeah,
Awesome. That's huge.
That's like the first like pro bag outside of Octane, right?
well, yeah. Well, no, because Canadian Cornhole Supplies, Cornhole Supplies Canada, get that right. They do Fire, Reynolds,
Oh, nice.
all Cornhole, and now local bags.
Nice.
But no, what I was going to say is, I definitely want to talk about this on our podcast only this week. But you know, the cool thing too is that you know we did a fundraiser last Christmas for a woman around here. Her husband died of COVID. Who plays with was that last Christmas? 2 Christmas? It was last Christmas,
Last because I think I did something for you guys as well. Too.
Yeah, you hooked it up too.
Yeah.
You hooked us up with a shirt. And you know, we raised $8,000. It's like if that's all we would get out of this Cornhole podcast, that'd be fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we were able to help offset something horrible that happened to somebody, just by using having the relationships we have. And I think I don't know, like the way my philosophy on it honestly is to be like, we help as many other people, like whatever we can do to help somebody spread the word, even if they're not a sponsor of our show, like we try to do it. You know what I mean? So like, for example, this is when we have sponsors, like they know that we're going to talk about other bags. Like I love Octane bags. I love hole shots. Love them. I have a bunch of sets of hole shots. I have 3 sets of hole shots and a set of the turbos and Apex.
Yep.
So by the way, free ad here, Octane Cornhole. But no, I mean, I think the relationships and like Donnie's unbelievable at that, like behind the scenes and messaging with people all the time and, getting, helping them out with like hooking them up with certain people. And, like the podcast, we got Trevor Brooks and Ruben to be partners. That happened because they heard us talking about it on the podcast. So I don't know. That stuff's cool as shit to me. You know what I mean? It's not, probably not going to make us $1 million, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Although to go back though, when you were talking about how you're not sure if anyone's going to actually click into the show, you're talking about other hosts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That may sleep during a show or something.
Yeah, like Donnie.
Yeah.
Like Tiny fell asleep. He's drinking all day with Bill Marchand. That is acceptable if you are drunk. That's acceptable. That if you just don't go because you were like busy or didn't feel like it, that's unacceptable. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think I like the other thing is like I think Donnie and you are the same as I am, right? It's just like you like just talking to people and seeing what's going on, like learning about them.
Yeah, dude, like especially like this week. Just driving out there and all the people that were messaging me along the way, and then all the people when I got there just talking about what's going on. It's so much fun. It like literally re-energizes me in the game because you guys know how it feels. Like every once in a while, you're just like, wow, this is a lot of work. I don't know if I really can do it this week. Do I really have it in me to go out and like play a couple nights or to, message these 8 people back? But then, you go to a tournament like this and you meet all these people that you've, talked to through the Book of Face and everything else. And it re-energizes you for the next, couple months, right? It really gets you going, especially, the most amazing thing. Thank you, Bobby Churnick. I got all my Pop-Tart bites upstairs. So
I saw those in one of Genevieve's pictures. Those things are they unbelievable?
Oh my God, he walked in with like a pallet of them. It was amazing.
Oh, that sounds unbelievable.
It was great. It went great with the IPA they had there.
Oh,
It was a really healthy breakfast.
And that's what I miss because when talking to the show, the only big tournament I've been to is back 2018 finals in Cherokee. I haven't been to a big event minus that shit show in Cleveland, but I haven't been to a big event. Like I'm missing being at that big event, right? Which is just pissing me off that I missed Rock Hill this year, but
Well, I mean, we're planning on going to 4 events at least this coming year. Those 4 events are, we're going to go to Rock Hill again, obviously. I'm assuming that's where the finals will be. We're going to go to Spencer's. We're going to go to the West Georgia, to the Bag and Bash. And we're going to go to one other major, probably, and I'm hoping that there's one in Vegas, because we'll definitely be going to that one.
Okay, because I was told 2 weeks ago on the show with Meek that we're all going to the local living event.
So we're going to 5 events next year. Yeah, I'll go to the local living event too.
So
the best part is that like we've worked it out so that we've saved up all our credit with our wives. Hopefully that next year will be a big
Well, with me, if pleading to anyone to go and buy a shirt either on Teespring or message me, because my wife said if I sell enough shirts, I can go to Spencer's.
Ooh,
so I need to start selling shirts.
Let's sell some shirts. Get Doug Dispensers.
Yes, yeah. Which actually, my cousin's done that. Donnie's been on his show as his music show. He does that to get to NAMM in California as well too. But it's it's that nature. You got it's that spending money stuff. That's all the extra stuff that really sucks about trying to get this done.
But it's not even the spending money, really. I mean, like when you're out there, you're not really spending a ton of money when you're there, right? Yeah. It's the expense to get there and back,
sure.
Right? I mean, you're talking, plane tickets, you're talking a hotel room, you're talking rent a car potentially, right? Depending on how long you're there. By the time you're done and you add it up, you're minimum $1,000 on one of these tournaments just going to it. So I mean,
all day.
And that's before you buy one beer or
unless you go down the Dogcast one with Donnie, and then, that's got to be how we're getting to the Bag and Bash, right?
Oh yeah, I've already told my dad. Oh, by the way, that's my birthday weekend too.
Woo! Bag and Bash, March 12th weekend.
It is I
think so.
Yeah, the 12th through the 14th. I think yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be shelling out the gas money to take the Dogcast one down, but it'll be well worth it.
I would try and hit down there with you guys, but I used that March 13th, my son's birthday, for Cleveland. That didn't go, so I gotta wait a couple years on that now. but it's and that's the other thing is that like I don't know how much crap you guys put up with from your wives, but my wife just listens to the show, so she won't listen. Doesn't matter anyway. But she's like, you're doing that whole like you're doing another show. You're doing another show. You got to go to this cornhole thing, and it's like, well.
Yeah, my wife's not so much about the podcast. My wife's more about the the money and travel. She loves me to go away. She just wishes I didn't spend any money.
My wife actually surprisingly is, although she likes to rag on me all the time about how dumb I am in the podcast is. That's her favorite thing to do. Mm-hmm. Every time I've said I didn't feel like doing it anymore, she's like, "You have to keep doing it." So she's selfish. She understands that people like it, and maybe one day it could benefit her. Now it does not, but she's up for taking the risk. She's invested. She's taking she's going in real low on what could end up being a decent stock. That's what I think of it.
Well, here's what I got too. I'm trying to get some goodwill here for Spencer's. So I potentially told my wife that the other wives might be going.
I've done the same thing. I'm telling you can go because you're right on the beach.
Yeah.
Listen, I go play cornhole. You can just hang out at the beach and do whatever.
Yeah, us losers are going to be playing cornhole and talking to people while you guys can hang out and drink at the beach.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Have you guys been playing? How's your game right now?
Mine was good, and then it obviously went to shit again.
Yeah.
So, but I finished second in an intermediate tournament.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, which is
I like that.
Finally had my first picture in a couple of years of actually doing something. And again, because they did the show it to Pam Clark, 28 weeks pregnant and carried my ass to the final.
Woo! Wow.
And she's a fabulous player. She's not had to take time off because the baby's ready to come any time. But she's only been playing for like 4 weeks.
No way.
And she's just, and they're part of our new crew that we have that's come with us that are just because. We got into that spot where everyone was kind of like took league nights serious.
Yeah.
Right. And league night shouldn't really be a serious every night's like every league night shouldn't be, you're playing for finals all the time. Like, who cares,
Sure.
right? And like the whole crew that's going with them, they got like 10 new people, and they make everybody laugh. And it's like, like I said, like she won $5 the one night, and in fact, you'd think she would have just won 5,000.
Yeah.
Like she was having fun. The two people that won, they got like $30 each. They got pictures with like no smiles, and she's like jumping around like crazy, right? It's just that's what makes it fun again. Is new people that just want to have fun.
Yeah, I went over. There's a blind draw, a Switcholio on Wednesdays, like one town over from me. So we've been trying to get the Doghouse back, but everybody's playing in these other leagues right now. So it's like I can't get anybody to even play. But so regardless, I've been actually really enjoying going to places where I don't have to do anything, like where I just show up and I give them my money. Like I don't think we're coming back. Like I think we're just going to be a club in name only because Wednesday night I went to this Malden. There's literally it's 4 miles from me, maybe 3.5, and I met like 15 new people who I've never seen in my life that were all there playing competitively. Like, they weren't most of the, like, there were a couple of guys who I'd never met before who were really good. Most of them were like beginners, you know what I mean? Which is what you want to see. But they were into the game. You could tell, like, they were really enjoying it. They weren't happy when they were missing. So the growth of the game, I think, is crazy. I mean, I think that's like obvious, but I mean, if you're just showing up to a new place and I'm seeing 12 people to 15 people I don't know at all. I mean, that's pretty. It shows there's a lot of growth out there.
Oh, yeah. For as bad as COVID was, it did great for Cornhole because everyone started playing because you can play it at home, and now everyone's coming with the leagues. And it's just like every league here has shown growth, by like tenfold, and it's been fabulous.
Donnie, I mean, you must see it all the time. You're out there more than most.
I mean, I see the social, less competitive side growing. One of our really good buddies, Mikey Curran, runs a Tuesday night up in Candia, New Hampshire. And there's a reason you've never heard of Candia, New Hampshire, because nobody goes to Candia, New Hampshire. But he is pulling in. First week, I think, was 96 people. And then I think this last week alone was over 130. I mean, he is just crushing it.
Well, it's funny because in areas like that, I find that, like, they get these huge followings. And the reason is there's a few things. First of all, there ain't shit to do up in those areas. That's one thing. Second of all, they don't have 7 league nights commutable. You know what I mean? Like, that's the one thing we're totally spoiled about. Like, it is done. I think every night of the week you can go play, right? Right, Donnie?
You could play 2 to 3 places every night of the week now.
Yeah.
So, that fact right there just goes to show you it's like, okay, if all these places have 20 to 30 people at them, and this, 3 going a night, 90 people. So it's like the same type of thing. But I think those places like Candy, that's what they benefit from, is like, and those people get so tight, like the maniacs, like John Clark's crew, like they're so immersed in that scene because that's where they all go play. It's like everybody who's probably within 60 miles that plays Cornhole is going there,
Yeah,
Clark had some buckets this weekend, by the way.
Did he have some buckets? Well, and I think the good thing is I think that's only going to benefit, up here at least in the Northeast, it's going to benefit the ACL. Because a lot of these people are going to start to transition in some of the bigger tournaments and start to play on the weekends and get their memberships and, really start to bring the Northeast back. Because, listen, pre-COVID, we were the largest region for the ACL. We had over 777 players registered. COVID year, before that, I think it was almost 1,300 just in the Northeast alone. So, I mean, we are one of the biggest conferences, maybe one of the newest and, kind of biggest
different regions. We're the first ACL international league. So we're no longer the arm. We're a full body.
That's
nice.
I love it.
And we've got so many leagues that are wanting to come be a part of it because, quite frankly, it doesn't cost you anything if you want to just become a member. You can just be a member for free. You don't have to pay any extra hidden fees or nothing. It's if you want to have a pay membership, go ahead. It's not like you have to do it. But
wonder when will we get our first international event?
It's
Canadian
coming.
Major.
I've heard it's coming, and you guys will be invited.
Yes,
I will make sure.
The Can-Am Cup.
Oh man, should be like the Ryder Cup. I can't. I think unbelievable, the growth. You know what I thought was funny too, going back to asking people to be on the show. I gave Jimmy Humans a little hard time on like my video the other day about how he said he should have beat Emperor, and then I saw him this weekend and I confronted him and I said, I was just busting your balls. And he's like, well, they talked over me, and he was explaining to me that he actually had the better point system or whatever. He was explaining it to me. And then he's like, why don't you ever have me on the show? And I'm thinking in my head, like, you're a big ass guy. Like, he's been on there twice. And I don't know. I just feel like it was nothing. It's literally, we're going to have him on the show. It's nothing against Jimmy Humans. It's just like he's been on their show a bunch of times. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm stealing the kid or something like that. Or like he likes them. I don't know. You know what I mean? And like then you have so much other shit you're thinking about. And then you're like, fuck, I should have asked you. I'm sorry.
He's also from Jersey.
That's true.
Well, so then how, like, do you guys have many people? Because I've had a couple that are upset that they haven't been on, that I'm disrespecting them by not having them on the show. And it's like, my name's on the show. I'll pick who I want to have on the show. But it's, it's what it is what it is. Have you guys had to deal with much of that?
I think we've had a few. I'm the one who fields most of those things. Donnie comes in out of like left field when we need a really power guest. McCracken shows up to the show. But like we've had a couple that will like try and promote shit, right? And I'm not going to say who they are, but like it was either a certain bag or whatever. And they're like, hey, we want to have our pros on or whatever, or these people that are repping the product. And then they send us bags, and I'm honest with them. I'm like, we don't review the bags all the time on the show. Like, we just don't do that. And then, like, we had a couple people who got kind of dickish a little bit about it. Like, when are you going to do this? And I'm like, what am I going to do? Would I work for you, motherfucker? Like, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. Now you're not coming on. How do you like that? Because I don't like that fucking attitude. Like, when are we doing this? Like, dude, I know. I said I want to. I do want to. I want to do a lot of things. I want to go to the Red Sox every night. I want to go with Donnie to every blind draw he goes to. Yeah. But I can't. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I don't have time. So, and you know how it is. You start booking people, and then all of a sudden, like 2 months have gone by, and you've been like, yeah, I do want to have you on. But, like, it just hasn't worked out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, too, because there's a lot of people, like to Brendan's point there, they want to come on and push their agenda, and maybe it doesn't match what we're trying to do at the time, right? It's just not the narrative that we want to be able to talk about that week, and it just doesn't fit into anything because, like, here's the thing. We push our sponsors all the time. We're there for our sponsors, and we don't, we're not out here to shill bags for other companies. We really, like, we support the people that support us, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, obviously, I make no bones about the fact that, like, I throw other bags other than buy a Cornhole, Titan, and, I mean, I don't play on other boards of West Georgia just because boards aren't something you usually have too many multiples of. But, like, but I have, I've been throwing fire at every Cornhole tournament I've been at, but, like, I would be opposed to throwing Reynolds with somebody or throwing Octanes, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's one of the bags I play. But I think when you're talking about, like, somebody who wants to promote, like, so I'll give you an example. Jay Rubin, and I don't know who their bag company is that is sponsoring them. They're going to drop it on the show.
Next, they just changed, did they not? Yeah.
Yeah, they changed. So I don't know who that company is, but obviously we'll let them plug it, right? Because here's the difference, though. Jay Rubin is working for himself to get sponsor money, right? Whatever. And now he plugs his sponsor on the show. That's fine. But, like, I think it is kind of, we would probably have like other bag makers on if we had already had them on and we thought they're friends. Like, I have Matt on, obviously. Like, he's a lot of fun.
Well, I got to sit in on that there for a little bit just to observe the greatness.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So that doesn't change, like, I mean, whatever. Like, but I don't know.
Well, the other thing too, one of our best friends is Chris Meek. He's been with us since the beginning. Never a sponsor, but he's been with us since the beginning. You know what I mean? No. He's someone, I mean, right beside me over here, I have a letter from him when he first sent us all a set of bags, saying, love what you guys do. Great job. We didn't even know him at that point.
I'm going to tell you right now, Meek literally kept me in my head in the game twice. Once, 4 things that have happened over the last 2 years that make me be like, these are like things that happened that made me keep doing it. One was Meek sent that first letter and was like, dude, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I know it takes a lot of time, all that stuff. It's great for the community. So it took his time. That, like, pumped me up. The thing with the raising the money there for the Corona thing. And then, the guy CJ Marquez from Texas, like a few months ago, He like, you know, I've never known this guy listens to the show at all, right? I've never seen him like anything or anything, and he just sends a handwritten letter, and he's like, loves the show, goes into detail about it, sends me a Johnny Cash painting to put up in my garage, gives us bags, so like shit like that, yeah, jerseys, like shit like that is like, oh, okay, like somebody's out there appreciating it, and like it's worth doing it for them, you know.
Well, and like you see with sponsors like Matt with Octane, like there's a couple of times when I first started up, I was like, okay, gonna have Christine Papke on. She's gonna talk about Reynolds bags. Are you okay with it? He's like, Octane isn't the only bag out there.
Sure.
There's other bag makers. People all don't have to throw Octane. Talk about whatever you want. Like it doesn't matter, right? And that's what I love about having Matt as a sponsor, is because he's like, go ahead, talk what you want, use what you want. Talk to you want, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, the reality of it is this: if you have an Octane sign behind you the whole time, if every time, obviously, you're on the show, you're talking about Octane bags, and everybody understands that you're associated with Octane, and people like you as a person because you're a good person, they will know that you would not rep a brand that's not like a super reputable brand. You know what I mean? So it speaks. He's getting what he needs to get out of you repping them, even if you're talking about other bags. You know what I mean? Now, it'd be one thing if, like, you know, I don't think I would come out on my show and say, like, oh, I just tried the new Game Changer. It's the best bag ever made in the world. Go buy it, everybody. First of all, I don't like Game Changers, but I actually think bags are so overrated, like the differences between them. Like, I think that, like, good players obviously I have my personal favorites, but, you know, like, either you're good or you aren't. That's kind of really the way it is. I mean, they're like, I'll give you. We had that Scotty Moe's thing. I was playing against Zach Hoover. Donnie knows this guy. He's a good guy, and he was complaining about how he doesn't like the certain type of bag that they were throwing with, and it's like the worst bag for him. And then they changed bags, and we beat them by like 17. So like the bag is semi irrelevant most people's hands.
Well, especially today. I mean, some of these bags are copies of another bag.
Well,
right?
I would, yes. And I would rather, I think, Donnie, you said this to me. I'd rather rep a bag company that I don't like the bag as much, but I trust the company.
Yeah.
It's about the people for me. It's the people. Really. Like, honestly, the bag game is getting so diluted, right? If you look at the approved bags 3 years ago, I think there was less than 15 companies on the list, right? Mm-hmm. And some of them were already out of business. Like Ruby's was still on the list.
Yeah, like Bear Belly. I don't know if they're out of business.
They're not on this. Bear Bellies is a lot of Amazon right now, right?
Yeah.
You know, I've seen a lot of other people throw them. So, like some of the people that were on the list weren't even like big companies, like Steel City Cornhole. I hear their name all the time. I don't know who they are. I don't see people throwing those bags, but they were on the list for many, many years. Now you look at the list, and it is 1.5 miles long of all of these bags, and some of the bags are just fabric flipped over from a different bag or almost a direct copy of another bag, and it's just getting so crazy out there with bags that it doesn't matter what you throw. Listen, here's the thing. I think I was on the Book of Faith arguing this the other day because with Fire Cornhole, they're a sponsor of ours. And everybody's like, "Well, Matt and Jamie are struggling." Yeah, struggling. They finished second in the world behind Eric Davis and Brett Guy throwing the same damn bag. If that's the struggle bus, sign me up. Put me on that bus. Because listen, I throw a lot of floor baggers, and they're throwing four baggers.
You know what's funny too about like this show and stuff is that like, for example, with like with Greenville, like I reached out to him originally, like because I felt like they were such a good company, I wanted them to be a sponsor. So I reached out to him. But then like when we had the guys on, they asked if it was okay if McCann came on. They thought that would be a good mix because of his bags. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's great. And it turned out obviously we got along with him really well. And like now, like, he took us down to Rock Hill and we did all that stuff. And it's like, if you don't, if I didn't ask the guys who I thought like probably wouldn't come on, I don't know why I thought that. We were pretty on the outs with the ACL at that point. I thought they might just be like, no, you can't. They're not going to do it. We wouldn't have met him. And it's like these little things that you do along the way that you think are complete, whatever. It's nothing. And it just steamrolls into this other whole like opportunity,
Yeah, we thought we were wearing fake nose and sunglasses to the ACL event at Rock Hill.
Well, and to talk about that is I laugh because we always talk about the three of us with the asps, you guys and myself. And I was like, we almost all three of us kind of stay in our lane almost. You know what I mean? Like if something happens that we're going to be doing, like there was one time I want to put a show early, so I messaged Sean and say, hey, just letting you know, I don't want to take on your day because we've each got our own days that we put stuff out. It's like,
Sure.
Just letting you know. And he's like, well, yeah, thanks for letting me know. And it's, they weren't putting the show out anyway, but I kind of laugh because it's like they do bag and beer reviews. I'm the guy who just absolutely sucks. I can't play, but I put out cornhole tip throwing videos, and then you guys were like everybody hates us, right? And it was just and we all kind of run with it, which is just it's fun.
Well, you got to have your own thing, and I think that like it's funny because I remember speaking of what you're doing. Now I put the show up on weird days. Some days it's only because of like we got to schedule me, Donnie, and Pat, and then the guest now. So like originally it was just me and Donnie. And what's funny was Donnie doesn't work, or he works kind of near me, and like he would have days that he had off. So he would come in during the day and we'd record it. So we taped during the day, like at my office, because I work by myself. And then like it would take us like 40 minutes, and then I'd record the interview later that night with Donnie, or originally I would just do it by myself. So now that we have to like coordinate everybody and the guests and everything, it's like some days they're different ones. But I do remember when we used to always put out on Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember. And the Asp put it on Wednesday. And then Sean put it on Tuesday one time. And I sent him like a mad text. I was like, why is this? Or it was our day. And he's like, oh, it's because I think we used to release on Thursdays because the guy was like busy or Dane or something. I'm like, why? Yeah. Like I was like annoyed at him. I'm like, why? Me and Sean have gotten into a couple fights over the years. It's awesome. It's like a brotherly fighting type thing.
Captain Clipboard?
Well, when I told him it was loser leave town game, he was so mad at me for that. But the good thing was, me and Donnie were the losers, and we got vacation for a month. So,
I think that was the first time I did the Mohawk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, that was the first time. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing with it was like when we first started. I mean, it was just crazy because I go to his office before I'd even go to work. He's like, what are you doing later? I'm like, I'm going to work. I'm on my way because my schedule's all over the place, working in retail. So, it's never the same thing. So, coordination was crazy. And then when we first started, I think for the first maybe 20 episodes, Brendan was doing all of the interviews himself.
Yeah, and off like a Skype phone line thing. It was a pain in the... It's funny because I didn't really know about Zoom, like because you didn't have to. It was like me and Donnie would do it, and then I'd do the way I figured out the whole way to do the telephone ones. But and then it's like now we've got Zoom. It's like what were we doing with a thumbs up our ass the whole time? Like I do like being in studio better. Like I'd like to be in with Donnie and Pat like at the same time. But it's like that we could do that probably once a month, like with the schedules and everything like that to get that to work.
Yeah, that would be, we'd have to pick like a Sunday night and all do it together. You know what I mean? It'd be a lot of coordination.
And then you almost, to be honest with you, to do it right, like you almost need to record the three of you together, and then the guest has to come in on a Zoom. Like, so like you can be together, but it's tough with like you need a headphone splitter. Yeah. You need like a full audio rig to do that. You know what I mean? Which we don't have. I mean, I have my old one now doesn't work with the new M1 chip, so I need a new everything, basically. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah. But that's just the setting up of the show is the biggest pain in the ass for me. Because especially for me, I work shift work. Sometimes I'm working evenings, sometimes I'm working days. I need to get a show out for this year day, but okay, this guy can't talk during the day. This guy can only talk on this night. And then you're dealing with everyone else's league nights, your own league nights, your kids' sports, freaking everything. It's just like we said off the top. This ain't an easy thing to do.
No, like tonight, my exact schedule was today. I went to work. I got it there at 7:30 a.m. I left at 5:30 p.m. I got home at 5:45. I drove and picked my daughter up at field hockey. Cooked dinner for everybody. Picked my other daughter up at soccer. Came back. Just came in, like right there. Yeah. Like, so it's like you're barely even getting the time to do it, Yeah.
Yeah, and then for me today, it was like, take the kid to school, go get an oil change, come home, record a show for a couple weeks in the future here this morning, take the kid to hockey, come home, and then it was like, message you guys to come and do this. It's just.
But that's going to be the hard part, because I know some other podcasts out there are trying to, do some early recordings. The hard part is if you talk about something topical, what do you do with that show? You know, that makes it even harder, because if you're trying to if you don't put that out later in the week or do a special episode, it could be something you don't even need anymore.
Me and Donnie got burned by this. Doug, we did this one time. One time, Donnie came in on like a Monday. We recorded 2 shows. And we were like, perfect, we got one in the can. And then I can't remember what it was, but something big happened. Like 2 days later, we're like, now we got to throw that thing away. We got to record again. So I think Donnie's still scarred from that episode.
Well, if you go back to listen to my Steve Bernasette show, that was right. I did that right after he won his first Open, right? So, but then he was on, like, I was like, oh, you're on like 5 other shows that week as well. So okay, start talking to him. Say, okay, think of this as 5 weeks in the future, and you did this like so long ago. Like, you know, like, because you're on Sony now, I'm going to wait like the next big event, and then kind of put you back out there. It's that whole coordination. I think a lot of people think I'm going to come in, I got a computer, we're going to just talk, and it's just going to be easy. But it's, you know, in seeing some of the other newer shows, they've had the same guest on like 4 times in 5 weeks, right? Because it is so hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many times, Donnie, too, did we just have nobody?
Yeah. Well, listen, we try to coordinate. Brendan's like smashing his head off the wall. He's like, I've talked to this person. We might have this person. We'll see what happens. And then finally we just like, screw it. We just got to put an episode out. Let's just start recording.
Yeah. We'll just talk shit. You know what I mean? The whole time.
Well, and that's where it's easier for you guys, because you guys got the 2. If I want to start talking, you're getting me for like half an hour.
Yeah. That's a tougher one to pull off when you're a solo host.
Well, the thing with but you do also do the NASCAR show too, and I was on there once, and you pull a lot of questions in on that one. So have you tried one of those by yourself with just fielding cornhole questions?
I've tried to, but then it just ends up, why don't you have me in the top 10 in Ontario? Because you're an idiot. I've had that.
Whoa, wait a minute. Speaking of top 10, what are with these bullshit lists that just came out today?
I seen that about like 3 minutes before the show, so I haven't even had a.
Matt Guy's in 10th on 2 of them.
Yeah,
like not even on one.
So disrespectful,
dude. Jamie Graham didn't even make the list on half of them. What? Come on. What is going on here, people? You're supposed to be running a reputable organization.
Yeah, I think you know, it's funny. You almost wonder if they do that because they're trying to promote the guys that not as many people are familiar with yet. Do you know what I mean? In a way. Because it's like everybody knows Matt Guy at this point, who knows anything about cornhole, I feel like. But I don't know. I would think, like, why not just promote your best, absolute, like, most decorated players? I mean, Matt Guy's first on my list. First ballot Hall of Fame.
Number 1 in our hearts.
Well, you know, and to talk about the Hall of Fame, I was kind of thinking about that earlier. Well, been thinking about it for a while, but, you know, I look back to when I was a kid, right? Like, you know, my dad taking me to Blue Jay games here. It was like all we ever went to see were the Orioles, the Red Sox, and the Royals coming to town. So I got to watch Jim Palmer pitch. I watched, you know, for you Boston guys, I watched Yastrzemski in the outfield, you know, Rice, Boggs at third base. Like, I think I've seen Boggs in like his rookie year. You know, I had no idea what I was looking at. But just, you know, all those guys that were like, are we seeing all of that now in the cornhole world?
Like seeing the best
and talking to them on their shows, right? You know, instead of being just that fan, we're actually interacting with these people who are going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the charm of cornhole, as long as it lasts, is that like everybody still has access to these people. So it's like, you know, you're gonna it's like if you went to All-Star Weekend for the NBA, like you're certainly not gonna walk by, you know, LeBron James, like just like and be like, hey, what's up? Like, how'd you do? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the charm of cornhole is like you can walk by, you know, Steve Bernasette, Matt Guy, Eric Davis, be like, how you doing? And they'll be like, hey, what's up? Like they're just regular people like us. They just happen to be way better at cornhole. So I think that is on its way a little bit is going to be on its way out because I think what is coming up is like the next generation just is more of like it's going to be more of a rock stars vibe. I think that's what I think.
So you think there's going to be the cornhole green room where they get to practice in a separate space that the public can't get to?
No, I don't know that it will go that far. I just think they're going to have more of a. anytime you're feeding off the backs of other people who've already built before you, most people are gonna be less likely to be like thankful for what came before them. They're just gonna be like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna take this game to a new level. And so I don't know. I just think that like those people who like Matt Guy or something like that, he's like guy played in shitty bar rooms for tens of years and was just like dominating these small tournaments, and now he's on TV. So I think he's aware of like the gift that he's been given. Whereas I'm not sure that like a younger generation will be like that.
So you're saying someday I'll have a cornhole rider where I show up and I only get like purple Skittles, Miller Lite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be amazing.
So the other thing is, I know that you guys have been to other opens and out there, and I've been to the one finals. Now that you guys have had your first finals, what was that like for you at that finals? Because I know for me was going and just having 1 day, 2-hour tournaments to, holy shit, I'm like at this venue from like 9 a.m. till 2 a.m, drinking my ass off, going to bed for a couple hours, doing it again. Because we were there for like, when I was there, we were there for the full 5 days doing that. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And I just did it again.
Well, it was crazy because we got the full rock star treatment when we went down. Yeah. Our buddy Lem picked us up at the airport in a friggin' Lincoln Navigator, like all blacked out.
It was weird.
It was weird. And then we pull up to the venue, and he drives us like right to the front door. We get out, and McCannon's there waiting for us to usher us through like the back door of the venue. It was completely surreal. But to your point, like it was a long day. It was a very long day because we were down there recording, but we were also down there to kind of hang out and meet the people. So it turns into, you start at 7 o'clock in the morning, getting up, getting ready, and then you're not finishing until 3, 4, somebody 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that was me. I paid for that though. There's no way you can avoid paying for that one. I thought it was just unbelievable. I was just amazed at how good of a job they did running it. I don't know. It felt like wild to be like, oh, like at the beginning, like McCann's like, come sit with us, and like I sat with him and Matt Guy and Brett Guy. That was like who I sat with. It was like what the fuck? That's weird. You know what I mean? Like it was fun. I had a blast.
Yeah.
But it is weird. Like you see all these people all the time on TV, on the internet, and then all of a sudden you're just hanging out with them. You know what I mean? And like a lot of people that you don't know listen to the show, which is cool. You know what I mean? Like,
it was unlike my high school career. I got to sit at the cool kids table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. Let's put it this way. It was a good way to feel like the work that you've done has impacted some people. You know what I mean? And they think it's fun. That's cool.
So were you guys in the building for that crazy Clemmer shot?
We were, but I was over back by the. I want to say that's when me and McCracken were warming up Tony Smith and Empher before Tony Smith went to play in the mixed doubles thing.
Yes.
So we were warming them up.
Yeah, I was standing off to the side. I wasn't in the tent at that point. I'd left the tent because I was checking on what these guys were doing, and I was off to the side of the broadcast booth, so I was almost standing directly behind Trey.
Yeah, because it was just like I think if Cornhole could be like that, if more of that could be on TV,
yeah,
I think we're gonna blow up. Crazy.
Well, I think you're going to see more and more of those shots, though, especially where a lot more of Cornhole is going to have to be the 10-round limited format, right? Just to keep it on TV right now because it's such limited time. And I think some people are going to have to, throw some of those shots and be a little more risky, especially if you have a bad round. And it really happens, but when you're down 4 to 7 points after like 2 rounds, you got to take some chances.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'll talk more about that next week here. But the 10-round compared to the I'll say regular, just for lack of a better term, is there's more action. There's more of a chess game. There's more action than the regular game because the regular game, you could be playing against Damon Dennis and you're already packing a lunch because you could be there a couple hours, right? Where that other game is. You're forced to make shots, get points. You have to do something instead of just doing 4 in, 4. You got to try and make that other player.
But even speaking of Damon Dennis, you see him with the 10-round format. He's thrown some bags that were a little questionable. Where if he was playing a regular to 21 game, he wouldn't throw that bag, right? He just wouldn't. So I mean, it does make you change your game a little bit to take a little more risk at times, where especially where you play some of these young kids with that GD roll shot, and like they can just come over your bag at a moment's notice, right? And it doesn't matter where you put your blocker, they're still rolling over it. So it makes it a little harder. So you've got to push a little more.
Yeah. So I guess to go back to some other current events, your thoughts on the how the pro shootout final ended up with Cheyenne Renner taking down Sam Finley, but then Maudlin on that run that he went on unfortunately he lost to Hisner there with that four points in the last one, and then the B team taking out the A team in the in the final, the doubles.
Well, first of all, doubles is exactly how I predicted it.
It's true.
I said that ED and BG were going to win, right?
You also said they'd finish higher, which definitively they can't finish any higher than winning. So
exactly, you can't finish any higher than being the damn champions.
I love the pro shootout stuff. I think it's cool. I think it's a good second format. Like I never really paid much attention to it till we're just talking about it right now. But I think it's a good like in betweener thing for the for the majors and that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like the pro shootout stuff is like a nice little side action that's going on. You get to see the best players playing. You know what I mean? And like then you're gonna see some matches that you won't see on, maybe you don't see on ESPN, like on that side court. Like we saw Tony Smith versus Matt Guy. It was an awesome game. I mean, he still beat Tony pretty good, but it was a great game. So yeah, I love the pro shootout stuff.
Well, and I've changed my stance. I've softened it with this. It went really late in the season this year. It went really late. Like
too late. Too late.
But is that a much better play, though? Thinking about it, I had 22 hours to sit in the car and think. But is it a better play for them? It keeps the season going on, because although all the other stuff is done, you're stretching it out. So now you have a much smaller window at the end to bring more people in, right? You just keep it going because, listen, we're at the 27th right now, right? In 4 days, 4 days, new season starts, right? October 1st, people are throwing blind draws for ACL points. So was it a smarter move for them to keep it going? Although, by the way, I paid my $100 this year to read the rules, and I only get 50% off a digital membership. Come on.
Yeah.
But I don't pay any fees. That's okay.
I think one of my sponsors paid my $100 for me. So.
Oh wait, it used to be free, the Digital Network with the.
Yeah, but they took the fees out this year, so you don't get any fees for putting money in. You don't get fees for taking money out. So
I'm not gonna.
I'll take that over the Digital Network.
I'm not gonna say how this happened, but last year my platinum membership was paid for by somebody who sponsored it, who is not a sponsor of the show. I did not ask for it.
Good friend of the show.
Good friend of the show. And I thoroughly enjoyed the benefits of it. And I'm hoping that somebody listening to this also feels that way and wants to sponsor my $100 again. That would be wonderful.
I already paid.
But one last thing about the pro shootout is, thankfully it was on CBS, because we were able to watch it on here on regular TV. And Donnie, just take the earbuds over for a second, because it really grew the game up here. Although really, I think I do have you on one of my Facebook Live shows where you actually talked about growing the game. You said those words.
Well, listen, here's the thing. I despise the statement, but I still believe the game is going to grow. It's still. You
know what's actually wicked funny about this is that Donnie's the biggest growing the game guy in theory, right? Like he's all about like meeting new people, being very nice to them, encouraging them. But he, for some reason, despises the term that describes what he is. That is actually true. You're like, you know what? I love to grow the game, but I fucking hate growing the game. All right?
Yeah.
But no,
it's like the Jekyll and Slide.
That's my Doug. Wait till you see some sexy boards coming out. They're damn sexy. They will be debuted very soon. But
I leaked mine on the internet the other day.
You did.
Yeah.
But it's still 98-2. 98% of the players are still backyard players.
Yep.
Less than 2% are still playing in, competitive and starting to come in.
So you're counting 98%. You're saying like everybody, for example, when my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law play cornhole, you're talking backyard.
Yeah, they're backyard.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I agree, but I'm saying like they're not.
No, they're
a
not
backyard
hundreds.
cornhole player maybe plays 6 times a year.
Yeah, listen, they play at family barbecues. They're like the one big barbecue on Labor Day or Memorial Day where the whole family gets together and plays, and maybe they buy a cornhole trophy or a belt or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, those are still backyard players. I'm talking like hardcore is still only 2%, right? The people that are going out, even if it's one night a week, I still put you in that 2% because you're the people that are still keeping everything moving forward, keeping it growing, keeping it. You're the ones buying all the bags, like people.
Yeah, I agree. I will say this though: it's the rate at which it's multiplying now is just going crazy because.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's go back in the day, 3 years ago. I get introduced to these guys. I play with them, but like none of my friends wanted to come or anything like that. But now that like you see how many different places there are and everything, it's just like they see somebody at a backyard who's pretty good, and they're like, "Hey, we play with this crew," and then like, "Where do you play?" And then they just show up one night. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many more people playing that that's just going to happen way more often. It's going to faster and faster. It's going to get bigger and bigger. I mean, I think they're probably 3 years out from like, I don't even know if they'll be able to fit all those people in Rock Hill. Like, and Rock Hill's pretty big. You know what I mean?
Well, they've already said too that they are paring it down to you have to qualify at some point to play.
They are going to, yeah.
I think that's what I heard someplace.
Well, I mean, that facility down there is amazing, but it's not going to hold. It's not going to hold growth. It's just not. I mean, you have to. That may become invitation only because of just the size of that venue.
It'd have to be. I mean, and the venue's huge, but I'm saying there was a ton of people there.
Dude,
tons and tons and tons of people there.
There was, like, even if you didn't watch, if you saw the broadcast, I mean, in parts of the broadcast, there's kind of some holes in the people sitting in the stadium. But if you looked up above, which they never showed the people up in the kind of rafter area in the top level, Brennan, above the pit.
Yeah.
There was a lot more people there. There was at least another 1,000 people just watching, just hanging out.
I didn't even. What's funny is, speaking of like what it was like to be there, we played a couple games, like a day, pretty much. Like we played like literally 2 or 3 games a day is what we ended up playing, because it would be like me and Donnie and McCann, the guy, whatever, some other guy, Mike Hennessy fucking around, or or it was us playing the Ass Brothers. But like we didn't play through a few bags, but like we didn't play much, and I didn't miss it. I didn't miss the fact that like I couldn't be in the tournament.
Well, we didn't play in any tournaments, like none.
No, we didn't play like blind draws. We didn't do any of that.
No
like,
sit and goes.
We didn't really have any time to do that, but we probably could have done it the first night. We could have got away with it, but we were so excited to be there. We weren't like really looking to get into a tournament. Whereas when I went to Albany, obviously we were just doing our own content stuff. I played the tournament, played the blind draw. You know what I mean? Did all that. Didn't do very well, but had fun.
You had a sexy partner.
I did. I had a great partner.
But talking about sponsors, they're gonna start to run across the bottom of the screen right now. Octane Cornhole, OctaneCornhole.com. Discount code CornDoug gets you 10% off. Then head to MyEarFun.com, get yourself a set of earbuds and a waterproof Bluetooth speaker, because you need that I can't even freaking talk. Waterproof Bluetooth speaker. Discount code CornDoug gets you 20% off. And then there's jccornhole.com. Talk to Jamie. Depending on his mood, how many ciders he's had, he may give you a discount, he may not. And then go check out Sierra Home if you're in the Alberta area, Sherwood Park, Alberta, to be exact. Check out Darren. He will give you any kind of home inspection you want, what you need. He'll let you know. And a portion of that does go to a children's cancer hospice in the Edmonton area. Check him out. Give him some love, because he does great things. And then as the new one comes up at the end, talked about it before, Cornhole Supplies Canada. Get all of your fire, local, all Cornhole, Reynolds, Octane bags you want, especially the brand new Apex SSs. I can now talk about them because they're a great bag. You guys, I know you guys got some sponsors. 'Cause I know Richie Queen is your big one.
West Georgia Cornhole. Doghouse for 5% off. Scoreholio, Donnie.
Listen, Scoreholio. If you're not keeping score with Scoreholio, your cornhole game is pointless.
And fire.
Fire cornhole. If you can't throw fire, wear it. www.firecornhole.com.
We'll grow it out of your head. And donate it to Dave.
And if you're in Canada, get your fire cornhole at Cornhole Supplies Canada.
There you go.
Say that.
And maybe at one point, Cornhole Supplies Canada will carry some of the sexiest fire cornhole bags in the whole wide world.
The Doghouse customs that are coming out at some point soon. Some point soon, Donnie. I'm sure of it.
Soon.
Well, I want to thank you guys for doing this here. Let's try not to make it a year because
Yeah,
it's been like
I agree. Well, we're gonna have you back on, so maybe next month.
Because I do have some ghost stories myself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to catch up.
Just saying.
We need to catch up. I love it.
We got whole new segments, Doug, that you don't even know about yet.
That could be scary. But anyway, thank you guys for coming on. And as always with everyone else, watch out for those players throwing gas because they might just kick your ass.